Hello, my name is Christian Mastelak, and I'm the director of the Masters in Accountancy program at Xavier University. And in this video, I just want to give you a quick overview of the MS in Accountancy program and what it can offer you and help you decide whether it's a good option for you. So, first thing I want to do is cover some basics of CPA exam preparation. So you're probably aware that in all 50 states you have to have 150 hours college credit, which is about 5 years, in order to be certified as a CPA. But in many states you can take the exam, the CPA exam, after 120 hours. So while you're working on your extra 30 hours, you can be taking parts of the CPA exam. Really important thing for you to do is to figure out what state you think you want to be certified in and make sure you know the state requirements. Most of the state requirements are pretty similar, but there are some states that have some sort of individual quirks or differences. You might need 2 audit classes in some state, or you might need particular amounts of ethics or research or something like that in different states. So please make sure you know your state requirements. See your advisor in the accounting department, and we will do our best to help you figure out what those requirements are. And if you're looking at 2 or 3 different states, then I would say, know all those states and make sure you meet the most restrictive requirements that any of those states might have. So that's a decision that you kind of want to be thinking about sooner rather than later, is what state do you think you're going to end up in. Fortunately, Ohio is a pretty unrestricted state. The requirements that we have in Ohio are lower than most of the ones in other states, so it's easier to jump the hurdle and meet the requirements that you have. In Ohio specifically, you only need 120 to take the CPA exam, you need 150 total. Those extra 30 hours can really be anything. There's no specific requirement for what those 30 hours are. They don't all have to come from Xavier. They don't all have to transfer back to a degree program at Xavier. So if you've got transfer hours for somewhere else, you're taking some other classes somewhere in the summer, those will fit in your 150-hour degree program. When you apply for the CPA exam, you'll send all of your transcripts into the state board, and they don't know or care whether Xavier has accepted those as transfer hours. So as you think about what it takes for you to get your 150, think broadly about what classes you take, where you take them. I always tell my advisees, your life is broader than your career. You are more than just an accountant employee. So if you want to study art, you want to study a foreign language, you want to study history, you want to study music, you want to study something else, use those 30 hours to do whatever makes your life better off overall. If you want to study business, you want to study accounting, that's great. If you want to study something else, feel free to do so. In Ohio, at least you have that flexibility. So don't fail to take advantage of that if that's something that interests you. Most states don't actually require a master's degree. There might be a couple that do, but by and large, states don't require a master's degree. So in addition to knowing your state, another decision that you want to make is, do you value having an advanced master's degree, or do you want to just get to the 150 and quit taking classes? Some students really desire a master's degree. It's a personal goal of theirs, and that's fine. That's good. I want to help you achieve your goals. For some students, they want to get 150.00 hours and move on. At Xavier, we want you to be successful, whatever you define success as. So if you want to get a degree, I will help you chart the path to get you to the degree. If you want to just take enough classes to get to the 150 and then leave school and start your career full time, I will help you find a path to get there as well. Something to think about with a master's degree. In accounting, we have certifications like the CPA, the CMA, the Certified Internal Auditor. Those in many ways sort of fill the place of an advanced degree. So if you have a CPA certification, that will open most of the doors in your career. If you go and stay into public accounting, the master's degree itself probably doesn't hold a lot of value. And I'm saying that just to be honest, to help you make a good decision. The public accounting firms we've talked to have said, look, we want students to have their 150, we want them to be CPA exam eligible, we want them to get CPA certified. And beyond that, the master's degree isn't going to make a big difference in your career. It's your certification and the work you do. Where a master's degree or an advanced degree might have some value for you in the future is if you're not in the public accounting world, if you're in corporate or government accounting, often there will be jobs that have as a requirement an advanced degree required or an advanced degree preferred. So in situations like that, having the master's degree on your resume, having that credential will be helpful. So what I don't want to do is tell you every single person absolutely has to have a master's degree in order to succeed. I want you to succeed however you can. So you have to do a little bit of crystal ball gazing and try to figure out how likely it is you think you're going to need an advanced degree at some point in your future. If you're fully committed to the public accounting world, I would say get to the 150 and then move on. If you're not sure, you want the flexibility, or you want to get the degree for your own personal goals, then we'll help you get the degree. Something else to think about is how many credit hours will you have in your undergraduate degree program. At Xavier, if you get the university core, the business core, and an accounting major, that gets you to right about 120. There's really not a lot of wiggle room there. If that's all the courses you've signed up for and you're graduating with your undergrad with 120 and you need the whole extra 30 hours to get to 150, in that case you might as well get the whole degree. If, on the other hand, you've got a double major, you've brought in some AP credit or some transfer credit, and if you're going to be graduating from Xavier with 144 credit hours or 139 or something, and you're really close to the 150, in that sense, I would say, if you're in that case, I would say you probably want to just take what you need to get to the 150 and move on, and you're less likely, I think, to want to spend another year of tuition and another year of time outside the workforce accumulating hours beyond the 150. Again, if you want to, that's fine. I'm not trying to discourage you. But typically, the closer students are to the 150, the more likely I am to advise them, go ahead, get your 150, and start your career. And if you want to come back and get a degree later, we will always take you back. But don't feel compelled to get a degree kind of just because. If you're in sort of a middle ground, we've had a bunch of students that are graduating at about 135 credit hours, so they're halfway from the 120 to the 150. And there you really have a decision to make. Do I really want to spend an extra semester and the extra tuition, or do I want to just basically spend one semester, get to the 150, and move on? And that second semester to get you to the 150, or to get you past the 150 to the degree, could make a big difference in terms of budget or time out of the workforce and that kind of thing. So again, you got a lot of options depending on where you're starting and where you want to get to. My job is to help you figure out the way that will help you succeed. And I promise, if you ever come talk to me, I promise I will not give you a hard sell. I'll do everything I can to lay out the options as I see them and help you decide what makes most sense for you. So we'll talk about Xavier's master's degree in accounting. We've designed it to be a good option for students who have about 120 hours and have an accounting major to prepare for the CPA exam as they get their 150. As I've mentioned, you can earn the entire degree. You can take just the courses you need to get to the 150 and then move on. It's up to you. We've designed it to be best suited for people who have a pretty good base of accounting at the undergrad level, which would be accounting majors and accounting minors. If you don't have an accounting major or minor, you can still enter the program. It'll take you more semesters because there's some sequencing and there's some courses you have to take before you take other courses. The accounting major can't easily be done in 2 semesters. It takes several semesters to do it. But I'll certainly talk to anybody that's interested and see what path we can set for you. So it is open to everybody, again, best suited to accounting majors and minors. If you are a full-time student, if you take 15 credit hours per semester, you can get done in as little as 12 months, a spring and a fall semester. You can spread out a few of those classes into a summer. So you can get done in as little as 9 to 12 months if you're a full-time student. If you're a part-time student, you can take it as slowly as you want to. We've got students who take 1 or 2 courses per term. Typically, these students are working full-time. They've got employers that might be reimbursing with a limit to the amount that they'll reimburse every year, and so students will take as many courses as can be reimbursed for. Sometimes people are just super busy and only have time for 1 course per semester, and that's fine. Again, at Xavier, our job is to help you, whoever you are, to succeed, and so we will be flexible if you want full-time or part-time. The MACC courses, the MACC degree, to get a Master's of Science in Accountancy degree, it takes 30 credit hours or 10 courses. We've split this up sort of in 2 different semesters. So the fall semester is preparation for the FAR, Financial Accounting and Reporting section of the CPA exam. So in the fall semester, we've got the government and nonprofit accounting class. We've got advanced financial accounting. There's room for 2 electives in the fall. One of those could be the corporate tax class, which has some financial accounting in it. There could be some classes in business analytics or finance or something else, depending on what else is offered. And then we're also offering, as part of the MACC program now, Becker CPA Review, which we call our MACC 641, our capstone seminar. I'll talk a little bit more about the Becker classes in a second. So the idea in the fall semester is, for sort of the plain vanilla block schedule, is if you've got your undergraduate degree done in the spring, then you enter the MACC program in the fall, and you can take up to 15 hours. And as you're working through your fall semester, you would take the Becker, which would include review of financial accounting and reporting topics. And then the idea is that you would get your notice to schedule. You would schedule schedule the FAR section of the exam during the fall semester. So that would be the idea, is that you would take it, end of December or something like that at the end of the semester. So you've spent that semester really cramming and preparing for the FAR section of the exam. In the spring semester, we've got that designed to highlight primarily the reg and the audit sections of the exam. So we've got a couple of tax courses, the flow-through entities tax class for LLCs, partnerships, and S-corps, and the volunteer income tax review and advising course, which you may have heard of. We do that at the undergrad level. We call VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. At the master's level for the volunteer income tax class, we have our master's students assigned as reviewers, and you can take it twice. You can take it as an undergrad, and you can take it as a graduate student as well. And so the idea there is you do some really, really good community service. You get some really good service learning. You get some client service experience, and it's just a really good program for us to add value for the community and also for you as students. So you get a lot of really good tax experience. Again, there's room for 2 electives in the spring, and then the second Becker piece, which is the Capstone Seminar 2, MACC 642. The way this is designed is you would take essentially all of the reg section of Becker, which is a little bit smaller than the FAR section. So you would take all the reg section of Becker, schedule the reg section of the exam, and then you would also begin work on the audit section. So there's a certain percentage, which we're still working out, of how much you'd have to get through the audit section. But primarily the idea here would be focus on the reg section during the spring semester, so while you have the other tax classes going on as well. And so again, you'd schedule probably reg, possibly audit section of the CPA exam during the spring. So let's talk a little bit about the Becker courses. So we offer these for academic credit, 641, 642, each of those is 3 credit hours. So that would be 6 credit hours total that's available to you. As we talked about already, the 641, or one of the classes, one of the semesters, you'd focus on the FAR section. That's about 180 hours of study work, which is more than most 3 credit hour classes require. So we can give 3 credit hours of credit for that amount of work. The other semester, you'd focus on reg, which is about 120 hours, and then a portion of the audit section. You could also flip-flop that if you're really interested in taking the audit section that semester. You could do all of audit and a portion of reg, either way. But in order to offer the appropriate amount of work to give academic credit, that's the way we've worked those things out based on Becker's recommendation of how much time it takes and all that. So the idea, in order to get academic credit, those classes are offered for SU grading, satisfactory, unsatisfactory grading. In order to get a satisfactory grade, you have to do a sufficient quantity of work to get what Becker calls exam day ready, which is follow their program and do the work that it takes to get exam day ready, which is lectures, multiple choice, task-based simulations. So you do the work, and they're just cranking through the work. There's no dirty secret there. You just got to sit down and crank through the work. You do that, and you schedule the exam section. So if you get exam day ready and you schedule the exam section, then you will get a satisfactory grade for the course. So there's a little bit of a downside or a risk that you take if you sign up for these courses. And the downside of the risk is that you are committing to getting the Becker work done during the normal semester. So in other words, in order for me to be able to give you a satisfactory grade for the semester, you have to get the work done during the academic semester. So that's kind of the trade-off. If you want academic credit, that's good. That gets you towards your 150. For review work, you're probably going to be doing anyway. The sort of trade-off or the price you pay for being able to get academic credit is you have to do it during the academic semester. So just be wise and make sure that if you're committing to that, you know what you're committing to. You're committing to getting the work done during the semester. And you do, of course, because you are getting academic credit hours, you do have to pay full tuition for those courses as well. A way to think about that, I think, is you're going to be paying for your 150 credit hours one way or another. This way, you're paying for work that directly helps you pass the CPA exam. How do the Becker materials get paid for? Becker materials are not cheap. So how do they get paid for? If you have a firm offer, if you've accepted a firm offer from an employer who will pay for your Becker, that model will still apply. So if you're working for one of the accounting firms or some other employer that will pay for your Becker, when you sign up for the Becker course, you will tell Becker that, and Becker will bill your firm and Becker will pay for it. So that works the same whether you're signed up for our class or not. If you don't have a firm offer, the deal that Xavier has made, and we work it out with Becker, and I've worked it out with the university, is if you sign up for both courses, 641 and 642, so you sign up for 6 credit hours, then Xavier will actually cover your Becker for you. So the way we're hoping this works is that enough students have firm offers, so firms will cover most of the Becker materials for us, which again they're committing to do anyway. And for a handful of students that don't have the firm offers, the tuition dollars for the courses and the support from the firms paying other Becker will allow us to be able to pick up your Becker. So as you're in these 2 classes, if you do accept a firm offer, please let us know so we can bill your firm back for the Becker that they've committed to paying for. But just so you know, you don't have to have a firm offer in order to benefit from this program. So if you haven't yet gotten an offer and you're looking for an opportunity to get your Becker paid for, I think this is almost a no-brainer. Like I said, the only thing you want to consider is making sure you can get the work done in the academic semester. You do get all 4 parts of Becker, and you get unlimited access. So even after you graduate, if there's a section or 2 that you haven't finished, you'll notice I haven't mentioned the BEC section. So the BEC section is not built into the MACC program. But if you still need to finish the audit section, you need to finish the BEC section, you'll have unlimited access to 4 parts of Becker. So you can sign up for these 2 classes and you get all the Becker that you need to pass the exam. So we hope that's super helpful, and we hope that's an attractive option for you. I did mention each semester we've got room for 2 electives. Typically students will take business analytics or finance as electives. A few students have taken some other things in econ or some other related courses, but primarily business analytics and finance. If you've paid attention to the major at all, you know the lines between accounting and analytics are blurred, if they exist at all. Analytics is a tool that every accountant is going to need to know. So we've got room in there. We've got a good relationship with the business analytics department. There's a few courses that make a lot of sense, particularly for MACC students. We've also offered concentrations. That's what I was trying to say, excuse me. I've worked out concentrations with the finance and the business analytics department. So if you take 3 courses in finance, if 3 of your 4 electives are finance courses, or if 3 of your 4 electives are business analytics courses, then you can apply for a concentration. That'll show up on your transcript. So that will be transcribed as a concentration. We also do have internship credit available. So if, as a master's degree student, you are taking a semester off to take an internship, or you've got a summer internship, one of your electives can be 3 hours of internship credit. Again, as with all credit hours, you have to pay the tuition for those. I can't give you the credit hours for free, unfortunately. But if you're doing the work, and it's a way to accumulate 3 credit hours to get towards your 150 without taking an additional class on top of it. So if you've got a summer and that's what you're doing with it, that might be a time-efficient way to get to your 150. If you happen to be a non-accounting major and you've got some accounting major courses that you kind of need to make up before you can complete the MACC program, then some of your electives might be taken up by some of those accounting major classes that you haven't yet taken. Course format, most of the accounting department courses are going to be in person once per week. For the most part, the accounting department is still teaching most of our courses in person We haven't moved the MACC courses to online. The one real exception to that is the Becker. The Becker materials are all pretty much a self-paced online course. You will have me, the MACC director, looking over your shoulder, looking in on the work that you're doing, knowing how you're keeping up on your progress, and I'll be able to nag you if you're not getting your work done on time. But most of the other MACC courses are going to be in person, typically once per week in the evening. We have one or two that we offered online or hybrid, but we've kind of moved away from that. The electives offered by other departments, finance and business analytics, some of those could be in person, some of those could be online. It just depends on how those departments are offering those courses. And if you have any of the accounting fundamentals courses to make up because you're an accounting minor or non-major, and so you're picking up the major courses, typically those are going to be twice per week during the day. How do you get admitted to the MACC program? Xavier.edu/apply, select graduate, select Master of Science in Accountancy. We don't have a deadline. We have rolling admissions, so whenever you get your application in, we'll consider it. We don't have a GMAT or a GRE requirement. We do have a requirement for 3 letters of reference, but we've got a couple exceptions. If you are a Xavier undergraduate student, you've got 12 credit hours in accounting courses, and you got a 3.0 GPA or better, you will automatically be applied. You'll automatically be admitted. You have to apply, fill out the application, but as soon as I get the application and I see your transcript that you've got a 3.0 or better in 12 credit hours of accounting, I will just go ahead and click and put you in, and the admissions committee doesn't even have to see it or make a decision. We've found that students who get a 3.0 at the undergrad level in their accounting classes tend to be able to get a 3.0 or better at the graduate level, and that's what good standing means, and that's how you can graduate. So that's been our best predictor, so we're going to keep using that as our model of automatic admission. If you don't have a 3.0, it doesn't mean you're an automatic reject. It just means that the admissions committee will actually take a look and have a decision to make. So if you're below a 3.0, come talk to me or go ahead and apply anyway. That's not a definite make or break. It's just that if you have a 3.0 or greater, then you're automatically admitted. If you are an auto admit, put me in as one of your references. And then that way I'll make sure I can see the application. I'll check your transcript. It probably helps to contact me ahead of time and just say, hey, I think I meet this qualification. Do I? And then I'll know to expect your application, and then I'll just make that go a little bit more quickly. Financial considerations. So we've got a couple benefits for Xavier undergraduate students. If you are an undergraduate student, once you sign up for full-time courses, once you sign up for 12 hours, you probably know you get 18 hours included in that. If you have room, once you've been admitted to the MACC program, if you have room in your 18 hours of full-time tuition and you've taken the right prerequisites, you can take master's courses built into your undergraduate tuition. So if it's your senior year and you've got a course or two that you can fit into your final semester, you've got 12 or 15 hours you're signed up for to graduate, and you've got 3 or 6 hours that you can fit into that final semester, let me know, and we'll try to get some courses in there, which has the benefit of A, you don't pay any extra tuition, and B, it pulls those classes out of your graduate year, pulls them into your undergraduate year, which tends to be a little bit easier, and so it spreads out your graduate workload over more semesters without adding any additional tuition. So that's a really good benefit that we've offered. We know the 150 hours is a hurdle. It's a barrier. We're trying to do everything we can to minimize the hurdle. Currently, tuition is $8.75 a credit hour, but the other benefit that we can offer for Xavier undergrads is the university has put in a scholarship program for graduate students who have Xavier undergrad degrees. So if you have a Xavier graduate or undergraduate degree in hand, then any of your future tuition at the graduate level is 25% off, which is currently, I think that's a typo, I think it should be $6.57 a credit hour, but it's under $700 a credit hour for graduate tuition, which is really, really competitive. In fact, it's better than competitive. So I'm really glad that benefit is out there. Again, that doesn't apply until you've got your Xavier degree in hand. So this is pursuing a graduate degree afterwards. But before you have your Xavier degree in hand, you can get classes built in to your first 8 semesters to whatever your regular Xavier tuition minus your merit scholarship already is. Ohio does have a program for tuition assistance for Ohio residents. I've pointed a few students that way. I haven't seen the results. I don't know how many of them have received benefits from that. We also have some graduate assistantships that may be available every semester. I can't guarantee them. You have to enroll and then you can apply for them. Typically for the graduate assistantships, the way they work is students tutor, accounting 200 and 201. So we've got our graduate students that are tutoring undergraduate students. So typically those are students who've done well in the financial accounting sequence or the managerial accounting courses. So they're available for drop-in tutoring help, usually about 10 hours a week. And in exchange for that, you get paid minimum wage and you get paid a course release or a course tuition remission. So you get 3 credit hours of tuition remission plus minimum wage for 10 hours a week in exchange for the drop-in tutoring. Unfortunately, you cannot be an assistant while you're taking the Musketeer Scholarship. So whether the assistantship is more attractive than the Musketeer Scholarship is going to depend on your situation and how many hours you're taking and that kind of thing. I'm happy to help you walk through that thinking. If you have any questions or you want any more information, this is me, Christian Mastelak. I'm in 212 Smith Hall. You can give me a call. You can send me an email, mastelakc. There's no C in my last name, but there is in my email address, mastelakc@xavier.edu. And there is the website for the Master of Science. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and attention. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. Take care.